Oof. A little hot. What's up? Get Suki back in here. I know, Chris. Oh, there we go. Let's get you on here. Perfect.
Okay, I turned the
Yeah,
lights on because it was a little dark in the
it was
house.
a little dark. I wasn't gonna let you go. I wasn't gonna tell you. You were fine. I could see it. So, but
Yeah,
no,
because
we
I
were
hate when
talking
I'm
about.
watching it live and I'm
Oh,
like,
right,
I
right.
can't
You
see.
can't see the person, right? So I know we were talking about cancel culture, and it's funny because of everything that's going on with people. Because Doja Cat, Drew Brees, like I said, Drew Brees from the very beginning. You said what you said. Like, just own it. I,
Bye.
yeah, I'm not a I'm not a Saints fan. Never been a Saints fan. You guys choke in the playoffs all the time, anyways. So, but here's my thing with that, especially with the Drew Brees situation. And Corey, I see you, Trina.
Trina,
That Trina Kaya, whatever,
child, she ruined my
is
goddamn wedding, y'all.
here's
Trina ruined my wedding. Okay, I had
how she ruin
plans.
your wedding.
Her and that damn Boosie. I had plans for a particular track to drop in my reception, and now I can't play it no more because they want to be assholes, both of them.
Well, I don't. They don't know what they're saying. They don't. They have no idea what they're
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, y'all don't like the Saints. Oh Lord.
I
Oh
mean, that's
my.
fine.
Oh
But my
my.
thing is like, you play on a team, and the NFL is 80% African American, anyways. And then in one of the blackest cities in America, what did you think was going to happen?
Because
That's
I'm
what I don't
white and
understand.
it's right. Because I'm
True,
white and I'm right. It's what I feel.
white is right, right.
Yes, it's how I feel. That's what the vibe is, the energies.
And then Roger Goodell with his apology the first time just couldn't say, "I'm sorry, Colin. I'm sorry, Cat." And then now says, "Oh yeah, I encourage any team to sign him." I hope Cat takes a couple workouts and then just says, "You know what? I'm good.
Run that
You
man
guys."
his money.
Well, he did. I will say he did get 10 million.
Some
He
more.
did get he did he did get that. Yeah, I mean, and Nike obviously has paid him really well. But how do we cancel? Because I've had this not argument, but this conversation about Kaya, and she's dusty to me, dirty, and I know there's a couple people in here. I'm not going to call them out, but that love Kaya, and the girls, not the actual girls, but we know the girls love
Family.
her read. Yes, they
Yes.
love her reads for what they're worth. But how can we continue to be okay with that when she then puts down LGBTQ people and just it's just to me it just doesn't I don't get into it.
So I'm gonna say this, Kaya or Kia, whatever the girl, she's a nice Kiki, a little entertainment. That's cute.
Right.
She's cute. That's it. She needs a little bit of exfoliating, some moisturizer, etc. But that's fine. Now, as far as the whole thing, there is an issue with Black women and the gay community, where there's this disconnect sometimes. And I'm gonna say all around, but I'm gonna stick specifically to the Black community because that's who I care about.
Mhm.
So I think that sometimes, as a straight woman, people hold on to gay men as an accessory. They think that
Okay.
he's a bracelet, a bangle, a purse, something to encourage them, boost them up, gas them up. But you really don't care about who this person is,
Mm.
their stripes, the things that they're going through, anything like that. Because most times when those girls then get married, their homophobic husbands don't want you around anymore. And
Good
so
point.
instead of actually sticking up for, this is my friend regardless of his sexuality or who he's with, whatever, there nobody I feel like nobody advocates or stands up for them. If they're your friends, why wouldn't you say anything? So as a woman with a lot of both gay and lesbian friends, and I have a friend that is trans as well, my biggest thing is that I can't date a man that is homophobic. It's just not going to work for me. I'm real big on that. My first two questions are, do all lives matter or Black lives matter? And the second question is, how do you feel about the LGBTQIA plus community? Because
Interesting.
if there's an issue, I can't have that around. I can't have that
Would that
around
be
me.
would that be like on the first date?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could get it out of the way right here. I'm
Okay.
very direct. So it's just
Yeah.
like,
I mean, I know you are. I
yeah,
just.
these are my friends. Like, I'm not going to not, I'm not going to sell out my gay friend for my husband because I'm so pressed to be married. You understand what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. So I don't appreciate that us as the straight girls, we see our gay male friends sometimes as an accessory. And I don't like that. They're more than style tips and encouragement. These are human beings. Like, these are people.
Yeah.
And so the same way that my friends show up for me, regardless of, their sexual orientation, is the way that I show up for them. And if
Yeah.
I'm ever coexisting with a man that doesn't understand that, we cannot exist. Like, we can't be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Awesome.
can't do it. And I want all people to also understand that gay doesn't have a look. People are assuming, I've had friends who are more masculine, perhaps, maybe, or trade, I guess, as people say.
Okay.
And they're like,
Right.
oh, he's not gay. He's not gay. I'm like, gay doesn't have a look. Because most straight guys say, oh, well, he doesn't look gay. And I'm like, well, what the hell does that look like? And the biggest thing about this stuff with cancel culture, et cetera, and all the other things we've been talking about, you cannot be afraid to call people out, even if it's the man that you lay in the bed with or the woman. We are afraid to call people out. Call people out. That's inappropriate. I've had students who was using the word faggy or fag. I corrected that shit immediately.
Good.
I don't give a damn what your parents condone. You don't say that shit in front of me.
That was a big thing when I coached. Obviously, being around a lot of well, I wouldn't say mostly of my team was heterosexual, because I know there were some kids that were hiding, and they use the word. I said, that's why do it? Why?
Right.
You don't need to.
I'm sarcastic with my students, so I'd be like, inappropriate. I'd be like, inappropriate. And they're like, you always say. I'm always gonna say it.
Always
and,
going
and
to.
I'm always gonna check you when you say it. It's inappropriate. So.
And Dolo, you said there's some things within the family and the all Black community that we need to fix, but hopefully we can focus on the true enemies. Very true. We know there's a lot. We said it earlier. There's a lot of internal strife that we have, but right now is not. But I like what you said though too. Is as we go along, we can fix ourselves, and we can fix each other as a culture while we're fighting this battle.
Right.
Because what I do appreciate about everything that has been going on, especially, I'm a little more vocal on my Facebook because I reach a different audience and I like shaking the table a little bit. But I've connected with a lot more Black people that I probably would have never connected with before.
Right.
I feel that this has made us stronger as a culture because we've been able to come together. There are things that we have to work on, and that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about. But I think it has made us a little bit stronger, and it will continue to get stronger as we keep going on.
Right.
Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping.
We all need each other. I think that I'm happy to say that I have a friend group that is so different. They're all different people, but I feel like I created this level of support for myself because I need something different from everybody. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of like-minded people like me. We may have a common bond for community or for activism or, for human rights or whatever the case may be, but all of us teach each other something different. I can go to each of these people that I've befriended, man or woman, whatever, and learn something from them on a regular basis. The friendship extends beyond hanging out and drinking, so I think that, being Black, understanding that there are people into anime, there are people into classical music, there are people, that love trap music, there are people that are super hood, like, we got
Beethoven is Black now, so.
Right, okay, it's lit. So, so we have to protect all Black people at all costs, like everybody. That's if anybody walks away from anything tonight with us talking, like, say something. If you see something, say something. If somebody is saying some shit that's out of pocket, check it in the moment, not 3 days later, not in an indirect post. Say something in that moment and check that shit at the door.
Yeah, definitely.
I've put people out of my home at parties for making a comment about somebody in the room that's gay. Why does that bother you? What is the problem?
They're not bothering you.
And I don't promote that type of environment. So while you could be near and dear to me, but you gotta go, because that's not what we doing tonight. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm big on that. Don't be afraid to check your folks. Like Dolo says she has. I have. I have.
So along with cancel culture, and I think we're both in agreement of just tear this whole shit down, because I know people were getting upset about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's taking.
Where y'all been at?
And that's the thing. It's like the recipe isn't going to change.
Y'all keep
the syrup is still going to be the same. First of all, I've never had any Aunt Jemima syrup in my house when I was growing up. Now, okay.
I did buy it for Friendsgiving because somebody asked for it specifically, and I was
really?
Ew. But okay, I get it for you.
It seems sweet to me, but it's syrup. I guess syrup
it's like
sweet.
It's like crackhead syrup. I don't.
It's really, really, really sugary. But no. I mean, what do you? I guess that goes back, and my biggest plight is with Black people who are upset about this. Like, oh, you're coming after Mrs. Butterworth, which, I mean, they are now. He is a thick girl. Who, Mrs. Butterworth?
Yeah.
I thought she was white. I'm not. I never knew a Black lady. Well, to be honest, I never knew a Black lady to have Butterworth as her last name. That sounded
That's
real.
Her slave master's name.
So, on that, I just have one of these.
Oh, white. She might be one of them thick white girls from like Dundalk or Essex. They've been breeding a little bit.
Easy. Well, those are what we used to call them. Those are birthing hips.
Yeah.
So she was right. So, I thought it was like Mrs. Garrett off of Facts of Life. So but.
Oh shit.
I mean,
no.
That's fine. Take them away. I don't care. Take everything down. Take these steps. But again, like we said earlier, you can take all the statues down. You can paint all the fucking streets in the world that you want. If you're not putting in the reform, if you're not policing these people, if you're not defund, and I know there are people who are like, oh my God, we can't defund the police.
But
we've been
people
defunding.
Really understand what that means?
They don't. No,
yeah.
when they say they don't want to defund the police, they don't understand. When we've been defunding education for the past 30 years of our lives.
Thank you. Because my little special timeline, sometimes I'm worried about the people that I follow, because I'm like, y'all got all these masters, PhDs, and y'all dumb. Talking about defund the police, what you want to purge? I'm like, that's not what that means, baby. Go on ahead and log out for me. That's not it.
Yeah.
That's not what that means. So
it's bad. It's really bad. And as far as APD calling out sick last night or not showing up to work, okay. So I'm going to write you up. Just like any other job, I'm going to write you up because you called out. We're going to find a replacement if not. Because here's correct me if I'm wrong, because I was going to write this earlier on my Facebook. I decided not to because I just didn't want to. But I see a parallel. So just like when NASCAR, of all places, who knew that they were going to be the champions of this whole fight, when they decided to take the Confederate flag away, and that one driver decided to leave. Okay, correct. I see as a parallel to APD, those people walking out now on their jobs because now they actually have to do their job and not hurt anybody. That's why I'm like, what aren't we seeing here?
Take the cancer out, remove the cancer. In every organization, even in friendship circles and relationships, suck the cancer out, get it out. Let's just go ahead. If you reveal yourself, when people show you what time it is, handle it. Okay?
That's what I want.
Get their ass up out of here then that's fine. Good to know where you stand, so we don't have to have you work here. Let's talk about your exit interview. What day shall I schedule you?
I'm here. I'm right there with you. I want it all. I want all these people to show up, show your face. Like I said, I'm not unfriending anybody because when the fight does come, I want to know exactly whose house to go to first.
Right. I did have to
Simple.
unfriend one of my friends though, because he kept posting "All Lives Matter." I don't know if he was
Oh, okay.
gaslighting or like what that was about, but I think he believes because he's fucking with Roseanne over there that he is above the rest of us. And then Roseanne tried to storm me in the comments on his post, and I said, "Oh, this can't be good."
Trolls. You just gotta
Right.
love trolls.
Right.
At this point, it's just like I know what you're doing. You can't. You're not gonna. Now I know one other thing you wanted to talk about was the video, and I'm sure everyone's seen it about the female being thrown in the trash can in
In
New
DC.
York, in DC. I thought I was going to say New York City, but in DC. Your thoughts first on it, and then I'll say my piece.
So again, this is a situation where people say we don't have all the facts, we don't know, we don't know, we don't know. Okay. So, okay, if we really want to go there, okay. It was said that this woman was making sexual advances allegedly and trying to touch him or kiss him or something like that. And
Yes,
he was
that's
he
what I
was like,
heard as well.
I'm a minor, et cetera, blah, 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 whatever. Apparently also another neighbor says that she's seen this young lady with these gentlemen on a regular basis. Like she hangs out with them. She's also 17 years old. So she's not, an adult, but I guess 17 and 14, yes, totally inappropriate if that is what happened.
Right.
I think that we always try when it comes to women of how to figure out to make something okay. And I think that regardless of what happened, to throw her in the dumpster was just weird to me. A whole mob of men throwing a woman in a dumpster.
Right.
And even with, if there is on media takeout, which is still such a fucking bangy ass site, but if you want to go on media takeout and look at the extended video, his homeboys was kind of hyping the whole situation up. Like go ahead, say something to him, talk to him, something, whatever. It's like, I've had old men approach me as a 14-year-old child, and me and my friends are going to tell you to get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, go away, or I will get up and remove myself from where we're at. I've never had a problem doing that. So I just think, like, people are trying to rationalize throwing this girl in the dumpster. I'm not with it. I took a poll of how often do Black women feel safe when it comes to terms of like love and relationships. I had about 90% of women say never. They've never felt it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
100%.
Yeah. So it was 25 women that responded to the poll. All different, all like from different areas, all like, yeah.
Is that with other Black men?
Yes.
Or just men? Okay.
With other Black men, yes. And so, what I said to someone the other day while we were exercising, I was just like, men will be accommodating, and I'm talking about hetero men because that's the only dating experience I could speak to.
Right.
But they will be flexible and make accommodations, for their boys, but not show up for their girl, if that makes sense. They're going to go out of their way to post their homeboy, to talk about his birthday. Oh, I love you, man. It is what, all it is. But then say, oh, I don't post my girl because I don't want nobody in my business. These little small things right here in the way of which a man should show up beyond like, I need a man to love me beyond what I can do for him. If everything is based off of me being a good woman because of my ability to cook, to clean, to make your plate, to do any of those things, that's kind of weird. Like, yes, I expect for my partner to provide, to support, but anything that I'm asking a man for, I can match that. So I'm not asking for anything outrageous, but no, a lot of our men do not show up for us. And I've even had men question me about if I say, hey, babe, this is what happened today, questioning my experience or what happened to me. Like, as if I'm being dramatic or making it up.
Right. Where do you think that comes from? Is it because, so before you answer that, hold on to your answer, because would you say that comes from a male's childhood that maybe love wasn't shown, so now they act and I don't want to give excuses to
Right.
treating
No, no, no.
women badly. And I'll always say that I've had a great experience because my father wasn't around. I was raised by a woman that
Hmm.
didn't put me in touch with my feelings more. It just made me appreciate women much more.
Right.
So that's where I think sometimes it comes with that, is that they just weren't really either shown love from their mother, or they never saw that love that maybe their father would give to their mother. I
Right.
mean, what do you think?
I think that's a component, and I also think that I might rattle a couple feathers by saying this, but we don't talk about toxic mothers a lot. Um,
Okay.
and in the respect that, like, women talk to their sons very negatively about women. And the thing that I've always said is that if your mama keeps talking about who's a hoe and how to identify one, and these girls is all fast and they just that and the third, that's because your mama was a hoe. She knows how to find what she was.
Right.
So she knows how to identify it, because that's how she got your daddy caught up, being fast and being hot and ass,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So we forget that. And you have people who, they stand by their brothers or their cousins or nephews or sons, knowing that they're out of pocket and the shit that they do is wrong. You can't be a man that say that you respect women, and you only have respect for your ugly ass sister and your fat ass mother. Like, that ain't gonna work for me. Not if you don't have the same respect for me as a woman. Most times I've seen men that I've dated, they treat me as like a vessel. You want to get me pregnant and you want to just have the baby. You're using me as a thing to have the baby, cook the food and all of this, and not really appreciating me as a woman. Like, what I bring to you, like, and what I do beyond what I can do for you, who I am in my existence. I need a man to appreciate that. Like,
In
that's important.
in that situation, would you take the time to then help that person along? Because
I
I know
have, I
we hear
have.
the cliche all the time, is like, we have people treat us the way that we want to be treated, I guess, per se, or like
Mhm.
you help them along.
But I think in love, that's a bad thing. Like, we shouldn't say that. Love people how you want to be loved, because the
Right.
reality is you and I could be together, and what we want in our love language and what our expectations are two different things. So I have to love you how you want to be loved, and vice versa. People forget that. That's in any relationship. I think we've been taught the other way for so long, expecting that somebody's going to show up that way. And you could go to the ends of the earth for a person, and it's still not enough. It's still
It
not enough.
that is a main problem, and I've found this plenty of times too to be true. Is not everyone's going to, well, no one is going to love you like you love them.
Hmm.
Always. It just never works out that way. But at the same time, I don't think we should expect that from someone,
Right.
because that's not, that almost seems unrealistic. If you love me, then you love me. You're going to love me how you love me. But the way that I might love you is going to be a lot different than the way that you love me.
Right. And there's no terms and conditions on, like, love. It's either it is or it's not. And, like, we all talk about the bullshit in relationships and all of that, but the reality is that everybody has shit, right? We all do. We
Yeah.
have hangups, we have history, we have things that we've never spoken on. It runs deep. You just got to figure out whose shit you willing to put up with for the rest of your life. That's really what it is. So to say that you're ready for a package to come all, dolled up and with a bow on it, no, y'all might have to unpack some things and talk about it, but that depends on the level of commitment from the two people in a relationship. But swinging it back to the men, protecting women, we don't feel protected. we
Right.
we we don't. And I
I,
don't know, like, for me as a woman, I think that when I love somebody, I don't love them half-assed. It's with my whole ass. I love you all the way.
right.
So it's like, if I'm showing up for you, I'm going to show up. Your birthday is important. Your accomplishment at work is important. I don't care if you had a bad day. I'm concerned. I'm worried about if you ate. I'm worried about, are you taking vitamins? Do you need to get out of the house to work out and be healthy? I'm worried about things beyond, is he giving me some penis and is the sex good? Men to me are way more than sexual beings.
Right.
It's more than that. So I just wish that on our end, it was reciprocated beyond my cooking skills and my ability to scrub a tub and carry a child. That's all.
So in that instance, what would you want? Because there's no, I don't believe there's a perfect love out there.
No.
You can be almost up to 80%, but no perfect. In that sense, then what would you want? Do you want someone who's equal in that sense then? Someone who's cooking with you or cooks for you every now and then or takes you out to dinner every night? What does that then look like?
Because I think you have to set expectations. What are your expectations? Talk about it. A lot of people are just coexisting in relationships, and that's why during this whole pandemic, it's falling apart because y'all was sailing past like ships in the night. Y'all really don't know each other for real.
At the end of the day, it's all about communication.
You don't know each other, but don't be afraid to ask for what you want. And also know that in asking for what you want, that there is an opportunity that somebody is unable to provide it for you. They're not going to be able to do it. So then that means you got to be able to get up and walk off. When what your demands are, trust me, baby, somebody's going to feel it. My mom told me that. Like, regardless of, how you feel or what you want, there is somebody out there that will match that. They're going to do it. Yeah. But I think we're so worried about the clock, the time, being married, matching up to what our friends are doing, that we stay in situations that are not healthy. They're not healthy.
Agreed. So I don't want to get away from the female aspect of it, but I think that also goes back to a sense of who you are as a person, because we talk all the time and everyone likes to say before they get into a relationship is, I'm trying to find my other half. When in the sense you have to find your full self before you can find someone else who is just as full.
Yeah.
Because we all, and I always use this, I don't know why I always use this, but it just makes sense. We're all cups and we're all filled with whatever we have. If I'm constantly pouring myself out into other people and I'm not refilling myself, then I do no one any good, and especially myself. So when it comes to a relationship, I'm not looking for someone who's half full. You better come, like what you're saying, you better come with all of it. I don't want 50% of you. I want 100% of you. Because if anything, you're not going to fill me up. You're going to overpour already what I have. Because you're just going to push me even more to what it's going to be. So I think it always goes back to, especially the people who are looking for that other person who's just going to say, like, I just need that other half, so I can feel complete. Well, if you're not complete yourself, you're not going to find the person that you're looking for. It's going to be.
Ain't nobody trying to play cleanup like that. We ain't trying to do all that.
True. That other person might just be looking for sex.
Right. And then also too, dating because what you think is a good look. There are people that date people because of their career or because of who they know or their social circles. Yeah.
Couple goals.
Yeah. And it's like, that's goofy because it don't work. It never ends up working. When you're doing stuff for the wrong reasons, it will always blow up. Show up as your real self in your relationships. If you can't, then they're not for you. I got to be able to be transparent. I am direct. If a man is so fragile that I cannot be direct with him or correct something, bro, like what? And I always connect it back to movies. If you like movies, when you look at 300, right? The woman is the basis of everything. When they were thinking about going to battle, they consulted with what? An oracle. The oracle was what? A woman, right? Mm-hmm. So after that, as they were going to, let battle commence and go forward, it was like, hey, if anything happens, you run this. Take care of the sons, make sure you share the story, you share the message. I try to connect things to men like that, like something that you can understand. I'm all for a team, a team effort. You know what I'm saying?
We need visuals.
We can both cook, we can both clean, we can both hold it down, but I got to have a team. there are other people who are like, I need these specific roles and I do these, but it's whatever works for y'all. There is no like set blueprint for everybody. It isn't.
So it's interesting because Dola had wrote this up here, but the person should be checking all of that during the screening phase. And it's been a while since I've dated, like been on a date. So I posed a question, the screening phase and how long that is, because I've been blessed to be able to have a friend first and then a partner second.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's how anything should be built. You need a foundation before any type of relationship is built. So the screening phase, how long is that? What does that look like?
I'd say a year.
A year?
Yeah. You don't really know. Look, it's people that's married to people and be like,
I mean, I agree with you.
Oh, shit, I didn't know you had a gambling problem. Or, oh, shit, I didn't know you be getting high and you a crackhead. What the hell? I've been like, you didn't know because you never asked. You never asked. So you got to ask. You got to ask the uncomfortable. My mom always says uncomfortable conversations have to happen. So it is a year, Dolo. It is a year. Because people can only, let me tell you something. People can only hide their crazy for so long. It's real. And people in those 90 days where you could get your ass terminated, let's be real. We've all had the job where we like, I'm going to be on time.
I just need to get through these 90 days, right?
I ain't going to do nothing. I'm going to ask questions in the meetings. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then what happened at day 91? Yeah. Oh, I get there when I get there. I need breakfast.
Yeah, right.
Come on now.
True. Very true.
So you need some time for somebody to show you who they really are. We all put I call it the representative. We show up as our representative and not like the CEO. I need the CEO to pull up at the date because I need to know who the fuck I'm dealing with. We all put our best foot forward when we talking to somebody. We like to highlight the best things about ourselves, especially the people.
It's like an interview. It's an interview, basically.
And I'd be like, okay, so I know you crazy. What's going on? And you don't have to be that direct, but you could ask questions like, so, your family, like, talk to me about your mom, like, your dad, and really listen, actively listen, pay attention, because some people deliver those red flags easy.
Yeah. So I said he was in the friend zone back in high school. What's a red flag that you would encounter that you would just be like, nope, I'm done. That's it.
I would say the biggest issue that I've had with dating are people's strange relationships with their mothers, where it seems borderline like y'all are together. I don't know what this is. Like, you don't think for yourself. She answered. It was kind of like I dated a guy who was like on some water boy shit. Like, he was Bobby Boucher. He was afraid to speak up. Like,
it's funny you say that. I had this conversation with someone who's in here right now because we were watching a show and they talk about the mother-son relationship. And just speaking from experience, because my mom was a single parent and I was an only child, we had that mother-son relationship. Thank God I grew out of it. I mean, I still love my mother, but
of course.
But I get what you're saying. But I also understand from their point of view, when you're growing up like that, that's the first female, the only female that you have in your life up to a certain point. So do you hold that against them then?
No, because my mom and I, and I was close to my dad for the most part. We had to work on some things, but it's certain the way that people rely on their children is not healthy, and we don't talk about that. So it is okay to have a healthy relationship with your parents, but when it comes to a point where your mother or your father they're speaking for you, you can't really make good judgment calls without it. Like, I consult my mother and ask her. Ultimately, the decision is mine. And she's somebody who I think the world of. That's my best friend. I love her, but I'm not going to let my mom impact my relationship or allow my mother to disrespect my partner unwarranted. You know what I mean? I have had to experience that where it's like your mom is being extremely rude, extremely disrespectful, and everyone else is noticing it, but you're not checking it. You don't want to say anything you don't want to address it. That's problematic for me. So I told him, I think you and your mom should have it up and like, y'all do what y'all do. But I think that he will find someone, but it's going to have to be someone who's willing to take the back seat to her. That's their dynamic.
You don't think he would grow out of that?
No, he's
Okay.
36. It ain't happened.
Oh. Yeah.
It ain't happened yet. And they still, like, I think it's wonderful for men to have relationships with their moms and things like that. But when it starts to impact the relationship that you have with your partner, and people love to utilize the Bible, and I always say a man ends up to leave his home to get what? A wife. You got to forget that your kids, you're raising somebody's partner eventually. Like, they're going to leave you and be somebody's partner. They cannot run off of everything that you're doing. You just have to hope that you give them the tools to make right decisions. So my mom kind of like supervises from afar. She'll step in if she needs to, but she don't govern my life. Okay. She don't control it.
So if it's going to be a year that we're doing the screening phase, when do they meet? When do they meet the fam?
Look, I'm real big on family. My family is crazy as hell and they're rude. So they're all direct. I'm not going to introduce you to my family unless I'm absolutely serious about you. There have been plenty of guys that we've dated. We've had a good time. I've enjoyed their company, but you really didn't meet the requirement to get to that next level. I don't want people to be connected to my family in that regard. Like, because when you bring everybody around, what is special about that? There's nothing special.
Here's the better question, because family I'm not saying family takes a back seat, but I think we definitely take our friends' opinions a little bit more now. How quickly are we how quickly are we meeting friends?
So that's a little caveat there, because you know what?
Okay.
Sometimes your friends is some miserable ass hoes.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes your friends don't know how to be happy for you when there is something positive, and they sabotage it all day, all night. Because, girl, I want you to be lonely with me.
Right.
Okay. We gotta be. If you get a man, then that means who we gonna watch TV with? Who I'm gonna hang out with? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that people. Right. So I was in a relationship and I was friends with a group of people who were so negative to this guy. He didn't do anything bad to me, never like did anything, but there was always a comment. It was always a thing. And it eventually like really caused me to have a falling out with this person. Like, I just think that you're just not happy for me. Like, you're not ever happy for me. I felt like she was a better friend for me when I was in a low place. When I was low and not doing well, that's when our friendship seemed to thrive the most. So you have to be careful. You have to be able to spot discernment with people that love you, because some people just love you to an extent. They don't really want to see you win. They don't want to see you do good. But it's that toxic, it's that hidden shit that is very scary. Like,
to that point, then, are they really your friend then?
Well, we don't know, because so many of us are coexisting with toxic ass friends, right? Like,
I mean, I've always had a belief as soon as I think 25, I started to believe that I have friends and then I have associates.
Mm-hmm.
I have the people where I might grab a drink with and might go to the club with, and that'd be it. But then I know I have friends that I'm going to speak with every single day. Maybe not every single day. It could be 3 months, and I might not talk to you. But when I do hit you up, we can talk about anything.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, because I've never had this situation. I've been lucky enough to have this situation where you only need to introduce one person, and then that be that, and then you mix. I don't like. Not to say I don't like mixing friends, but when you're friends with their friends, does that make sense?
I've had that happen, and we're all still friends. Me and the person are not together.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're all friends. But luckily for me and the other person, we're very mature. So, like, they kind of just hang out with us separately, if that makes sense, to not make shit weird or anything. But now we're at a point where we're actually, like, we're good. So we can be in the same space and it's all good. I think it's all in how you leave a relationship that determines how the future interactions will be.
Well, you said it. It's all maturity. If you can be mature about it.
And also respect that some people, I don't campaign for the friends with exes thing. That's really never been my thing. But this particular person, I just can't ever, like, as much as I try to, get them up out of here. I can't, get away from them. But I'm really not big on, we can be cordial, but to say like, oh, this is my BFF, this is my friend, friends don't hurt you. And like I said, it's a way that you exit a relationship the right way. Some people exit and don't even tell you, you know what I'm saying? So it's all in how you leave the relationship, how you sever ties determines what our future will be. That's how I look at it. So if you make it bad, it's going to be bad.
And I think that's where a lot of people fall into the spectrum where they're like, well, I'm not friends with my ex. Well, it's probably because of the way that you guys left the situation. I don't know why that's such a big thing now is people like mess and people like drama.
Because they bored.
It's almost like the current person living in the White House who likes reality TV. Because I feel like everyone thinks that they're on a reality. To not make fun of people with certain abilities, but there is something extremely wrong with him. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. But oh, did I lose you? No, I got you back. You there?
Right. Uh-oh, he froze.
Okay.
Oh no.
Nope. Do you see me?
Okay. Are you? Yeah, I can see you now. But it's
okay.
Not,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think okay.
We're good now. Yeah. I don't understand what the affinity to messiness is nowadays, and drama.
Reality TV. It's reality TV. People love.
I guess it goes
drinks.
back to the.
I ain't throwing no drink. Yeah, I ain't throwing no drink. Drinks are expensive. I like top shelf alcohol. Baby, I'm not throwing that. I'll drink it and maybe throw the cup at you. I ain't throwing no drink. I'm going to drink my drink. Okay?
Right.
But reality TV has got people thinking, and I think that's why people enjoy, Love and Hip Hop and Basketball Wives and all that. It's merely entertainment. And I think, like, people have to understand that, but then, like, it's starting to imitate, like, real life. Because I'm seeing these people, like, they want to, like, swing this over into reality and, like, we don't have money to drink champagne all day. We actually have to like go to work. Like we have things that we have to do. We got some stuff to do.
It goes back to those influencers that don't do anything.
Right.
And this again, people look at the pandemic and it's extremely bad, terrible that we had to lose all these people because our administration doesn't know how to cut it off from the very beginning. But it also was a great time of revelation for people. Because those influencers disappeared. Because now you can't take those fake trips. You can't post all those pictures.
Okay.
It's just, and that's the scary part. And to almost circle back to what we were talking about when we began is sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, what are we doing today? Because
I feel you. I'm the same way. But what we lying about now?
What are we? And you almost get discouraged because you want this to be the fight of all fights. Because like I said, there's no returning back to normal after this.
No.
So we have to find a finish line, not the final finish line, but we have to find at least one. But then you just get so discouraged because you're like, what is this? Now people are worried about a Target burning down. People are worried about taking off Aunt Jemima off the syrup. Can't we just focus?
Small victory, but I need more. Like, you got to go for the good stuff. We have to go for we gotta go hard. The statues coming down and everything, that was already overdue. It should have been done, American history seems to be the only history that, we talk so heavily into like our forefathers or founding fathers or whatever, not realizing that the basis of all of that was rape, genocide, like all kind
losers.
Like, come on now. Yeah. I mean, and it's shown through in animation, like cartoons from other reality TV shows. It's just, it runs too deep to just think that this is going to be it. So, okay, take off the Aunt Jemima syrup outside of, her being the face of the syrup. It's not healthy for you. Let's just go there. It's not. Read, read what you're consuming. Like that's important. But yeah, we could take her off the thing, but who goes up there now? Or what do we call it now?
Right.
Okay.
Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's one thing. So it's two things. Oh, are you guys excited about Juneteenth? Yes, I got my shirt from Marissa. It's in this bag here. Unicorn
Nice.
Smoke. So it's a Black-owned business. She's pretty dope, but she dropped it off yesterday. So I'm gonna be celebrating. I celebrate being Black every day because I enjoy it. But
I learned about it actually at Howard's homecoming
nice.
Years ago. Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. And that's here's the other thing. I know there's going to be people out there who've been like, well, I've been celebrating Juneteenth from the very beginning, and all these people are now celebrating. Let them celebrate.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Christmas thing.
Just
back.
Come on in. Just come on in.
Back.
Just let us in. But yeah, tomorrow I have another show tomorrow. I'm taking it a little bit easy tomorrow, but then on Saturday, I will be registering people to vote at a day party that we have here. So, and that's the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, because people are clamoring, like just itching at the bit to get these celebrities to come out and speak on it. When I'm just like, I don't care. I could care less if someone who can return back to the clouds and go back to their $5 billion home. I don't care. You're not fighting the fight. Do what you got to do.
You're not. We put too much in famous people to do the right thing by us. And I don't think that any of them are role models or anything like that. They're people like us. They make mistakes like us, all of that. Even beyond that, you show up then. Because we always talk about who's not saying anything or you go. Yeah. You can go. You take 5 of your friends, you go. Y'all go. Yeah. You do it. So I ain't worried about Cardi B speaking for me, because I don't need her to speak for me, because I can go. I'm going to pull up, I'm going to show up, and I'm about to round up 3 to 5 people, whoever, we buy into the same thing, we got it going on, we all going to go. And that's where I am with it. So, you can't wait for these people to speak up for you. And if they don't, note it and handle it accordingly. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, Chris said, come back next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the fact that some of these people go so hard and they're just like, oh my gosh, Beyonce wrote a letter. I posted something today. I think it was from the people who were investigating or who had even looked into Breonna Taylor's case. And they basically said, yeah, we got the letter. Okay. They don't care. It could have been me who wrote the letter, and they would have said the same exact thing.
But, people love being spoon-fed bullshit. They enjoy it because it's like, well, Beyonce said something. That's fine. You say something. Make your phone call, use these resources, write an email. If you can schedule your hair appointment, your lash appointment, your barber time, whatever, you can take the 2 seconds to submit for a petition, for a signature, whatever you have to do, you got the time. You can do it. Yep. We are all a little bit more laid back than we have been, with work being from home. Of course, not with people on the front line or first responders, etc. But if you're a person who has had the luxury to work from home at this point, you have more than enough time to make a call. That could have been your sister, could have been your friend. It could have been somebody to us. So I'm going to fight just off that alone. I don't need a celebrity to push me to do that, because it could have been me. And I would hope that if, God forbid, something was to happen to me, that people that know me and love me would keep that same energy and rally for me too.
Exactly. So, like I said earlier, if you believe any type of faith, God is setting this up perfectly. It's extremely disheartening when someone dies, when someone is murdered. But for us to be home, for us to not be at work, to witness this, to see everything, we can be out on the streets protesting. It's going to take everybody. There are foot soldiers. Those people are out there protesting. I I was able to get out early enough, but it's getting a little dangerous out here now. But okay, there's still people out there that we need people behind the scenes. We need people to vote. We need people to do everything.
Right.
And that's
And
what
if
it's
you
going
don't
to take
feel
all of us.
comfortable protesting, there are things that you can do inside of your community to help. Volunteer at a school, take a child on to mentor, figure
Yep.
out how you can do certain things. Like, everybody's fight is different, but their role is very necessary. So we think that if somebody's not saying something, they're not doing anything, or if I'm not taking a boomerang of me at a protest, that means I'm not active. That's not
Speak on it.
necessarily true. So, however, get it how you live. But I mean, even back to our initiative of sponsoring those seniors, we had a lot of people show up for these kids. Some of these people that we only have a relationship to Instagram. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're Black people who believed in the youth. They want them to win. They want to encourage them. So they showed up and they donated. People don't realize how that small thing of taking your hard-earned money to donate to other kids who were in need, how much that helps.
Yep.
It's the little things. Find out how you can be involved in your local community, like beyond like volunteer. Find out if there's an after-school program that needs help. And I mean, yes, Black people, we want to be compensated. There's a lot of shit that I've done for free, and I don't regret any of it, because if I have the ability to impact a life or make a change, that's important to me. And you also have to think about, for all of us to get to where we were right now, somebody took that time for us. So why not reciprocate it and give that back to another kid? Grab somebody. It's stemming back to what I said before. Go back and grab somebody else. Go get somebody else so that they can win too. Yeah. Yes, there is racism. There is brutality. We have a lot more work to do. But I also want to cover our kids and our people in love and support and show up for people. Retweet your friends' shows, their podcasts, their fashion lines. Like, show love, not once they get on, but show love, and I will say, from me to you, the amount of support as a man that you've given me as a Black man, to be able to talk my shit and say whatever it is in a safe space and be receptive to dialogue, that is a monumental thing for me. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate you coming on. This is as deep as we got for as long as we got. It's a nice reprieve. It's a nice reprieve from everything that's going on, and that's what we need. And that's what I want to remind people is continue to love on each other and to take care of each other.
Yeah,
but
we have to.
Also protect your mind, protect your brain. Like I said, I have been told plenty of times to just put my phone down, because I feel like I can't get away, because I really feel like I'm going to miss something. But I can't, I have to, at the sacrifice of keeping my brain ready and strong. Because at the end of the day, we can't be weak during this fight.
No.
Because once we're weak, we're a weak chain, or we're a weak link in this really long chain.
Right.
This has been amazing. It's been great.
And I thank you so much.
No problem. What I want you to do is I'm going to put it in the details, but run down, for the people who don't follow you, run down your social media, a Nuva Black Podcast. I know Dolo's out there, so we'll shout him out too.
my social media is Suki, SUKI_Miyoko. I'm not shady girl. I interact with everybody. I believe that everybody has something to say, which is why we created this podcast. So we have all guests of all walks of life on. We want to make sure that in being a podcast that's centered around Black people, that we make sure everyone's voice is heard, from all different, socioeconomic backgrounds to sexuality. I want everybody to be represented so that everybody knows what's going on out here, because we are all so different, and that's what makes us so dope as Black folks. So it is a Nuva Black Podcast, and it's ANUVA. We are on Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And yes, Dolo, we do get ratchet. We do. And if you ever want to be a guest on the show, all you got to do is hit my DMs. Like, we can make it happen. I would.
And are you single?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, and if you want to hit her DMs just to take her out.
Yeah, you can do that too. Don't send me no dick pics though, because I don't like that. Not even with the lotion on it. I don't like that either.
And then there's the website too. I'll also put in the
Yes,
details as
it's
well.
Suki. Yes, SukiandDolo.com. We have merchandise. We got dad hats. We have T-shirts from anything to real plain to real over the top. We got all of that. So yeah, support. I mean, and if you can't buy a shirt, I do appreciate the people that have supported us during this pandemic with work and all of that good stuff. But listen to the show, respond, let me know what you think we should cover. I'm open to every and anything. So the biggest thing is I want people to be heard. I don't care about who your followers are, and that's how we determine if you get on the show. I think you have a story. If I think it's worthy of sharing and you have something to bring to the table, we want you there. It's important. So yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on, Dolo.
So that means when you come into town, I'm gonna make you okay.
I'll come. Dolo, I'm not stealing your co-host. Don't worry. So I wanted to make that very clear. I'm not going to. Suki, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have to do it again because this was, like I said, this was great.
Yes,
so,
and I love you, and I appreciate
you too.
And I love I love everything that you're doing. I'm gonna keep supporting, keep following, retweeting, all of that stuff. See, Dolo gives up that's the shady Leo in him, but that's okay though.
That's okay. I mean, that's okay. That's why it works. That's why it works. We'll chat after this.
All right, boo.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
So yes, Dolo, this was awesome. It was amazing, and as you can see, the smile on my face can describe how great it was. I am thankful for Suki for coming on just to chat, and sometimes that's what we need, especially during these times, is just to chat. I'm gonna put all their information in. Check out the podcast. It's great. It's funny. It's hilarious. It is ratchet. But that's everything that you need, especially right now. So check out the podcast, check out their website, do what you can to support. Don't forget, we have a episode tomorrow, Focus TV, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be speaking with Ian Edwards. Ian was on the show before, but we'll be talking all things skincare, and we'll just be shooting the breeze as well. So if you do have any questions, please shoot them on in or come on into the show tomorrow night and ask your questions. But until then, love on each other. Like I said, continue to be strong, keep your sanity, keep your mental health right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.